Good evening, everybody, and thanks for coming. As Aaron said, my name is Steve Maniaci, and I'm the athletic director. I'm privileged to be the athletic director here. And so a little bit about this evening's activities. I want to welcome all of you. Certainly want to start by welcoming Colin back to campus. Colin, thank you for coming this evening. As I'm sure probably most of you know, Colin's in town to play at the Insperity this weekend out at the Woodlands. So if anybody doesn't have anything to do on Saturday and can get out there to see him, yes, exactly. Anytime this weekend would be fantastic. And you never know. He may acknowledge you if you start yelling out something about HBU or HCU. He may acknowledge that. Yeah. Don't do it while he's swinging, please. So a little bit about the evening. What we're going to do is I'm going to bring up Coach Schuster, our director of golf, and he's going to fill you in a little bit about the team that we have now. And then we're going to have a prayer, and then we're all going to eat dinner. And then once dinner is over with, I'm going to get back up here and bring up Dr. Sloan and Mr. Montgomerie, and they're going to have a little bit of a chat up here. And as Aaron said, there'll be some questions and answers during that period of time. So if you have a really good question, write it down, and Aaron may pick it out of the hat to ask Colin. So at this point, I'm going to bring up Dave Schuster. I don't want to stand in between him and the golf folks. So a little bit about Dave. Dave, are you starting your 18th? Are you finishing your 18th or starting your 19th?
Finishing my 18th.
Yeah. David was one of the first hires that we made when we brought back Division I athletics, and what a great hire that was. I will not take credit for that. That was Ron Cottrell was the AD at that point, and Ron made that hire, and what a great hire it has been. A little bit about Dave, just kind of his vita, if you will. He has overseen, since he's gotten here, 26 tournament victories, 8 conference championships, and 3 NCAA appearances. 8 times he's been named Coach of the Year for whatever conference we were in at the time. Not only that, what I think probably a lot of people don't, a lot of people know he's our golf coach, but what a lot of people probably don't know is David also has I believe at the time, a 5A state championship football ring as a football coach. David was one of the football coaches at Aledo before he came here, and one of the few guys in this state that has a 5A state championship ring as a football coach. Very few of those are head golf coaches. So we are very fortunate to have him. He has also overseen or had in his program 20 All-American Scholar athletes. And that number, I think, is going to grow again this year. In fact, I know it's going to grow, quite frankly, because I know who's sitting back there. So that number will grow this year. And of that, we are certainly most proud. Undoubtedly, our golf program has been, I would say, our premier program over the years because of Dave's leadership. No other program we have has the kind of credentials that I just read off to you. And that is a testament to all the hard work that David's done. For a lot of years, until just, I think, 2 years ago, David was the head coach of both the men's and the women's team. And unfortunately, for a lot of years, he did that without an assistant coach for a lot of time. So what an outstanding job he's done for this university. I'm so proud to be able to welcome him to the stage tonight. David, come on up.
Good evening. I appreciate that warm opening speech there. I've spent a lifetime coaching. It's my 42nd year of coaching, in fact, and I took 3 years off during the oil crunch back in the 80s when Houston was suffering a little bit from that as well. But I've been successful in a lot of different realms of football, playoffs, helped Aledo start their, 12? They've won 11 or 12 state championships now, so I helped start the first one. And guess where I did it? Astrodome. It's funny because another person that brought me here was a college buddy of mine, which worked here at HBU for many years, Anthony Martin. He helped run a bookstore for decades, and he's the reason that I'm basically here. He contacted me, he says, I know you've been wanting to get into college coaching, and we're going back to Division I, and are you interested? And I'm like, I was on my computer when he called me, and I sent my resume right then and there. And so I sent it along, and then that's when we started the process and everything. But can't do it without everybody that's been a supporting staff of it all, from our head women's coach now, which is Jordan Jeffers, which he was on my first men's team. His wife was on one of our women's teams. David Williams was helped me out a little bit when he first got out of the military on some occasions when I had to go out in town because I didn't have assistants and I needed somebody with the team so I could go recruit. So David helped out a little bit, and he's been with us for many years as well. And there's a lot of assistants that I've had, and I could go on all night talking about what they've given to us. But the other thing that is amazing that has been given to us is the gratuity that the golf courses that we work with and what they've done for us, from Riverbend Country Club to Sweetwater Country Club, which we have two of their staff members here, Director of Golf and one of the head pros there. And we can't do it without those people. It's impossible. So we really give appreciation to those folks as well as all the alumni and the people that have given over the years. We do have a little interesting basket over here for the gentleman that we're honoring tonight, and very gracious of him to come and give us a dinner benefit and speak for us and answer all y'all's questions and enlighten us on his side of what HBU was in the days and what HCU is now. Colin, we'd love to be able to give you this. It's some of our new head covers. I don't know if you use a card book. Now you got it says dogs up. Dog's head on it. I don't know which putter you use, where it's a mid-mouse or where it's a mouse. There's a golf shirt in there. There's a towel. Well done. There's a white towel in there that has the one we gave at our golf tournament that's named after you, that we hosted at Sweetwater Country Club. It says the Colin Montgomerie Invitational. It says Monty in the middle of it. So all those things are in here for you. Thank you so much. I got to use my readers. I've gotten to that point where I've got to use my readers. A few things on as far as our programs go. A couple years ago, Jordan was at another university and wanted to come back to Texas and get closer to home and relatives and family, and I wanted him back anyway. So he and I worked well together for many years, and it's nice to have him back as well. As far as our women's program, a couple things that have been mentioned. The team has accomplished, since we had one of the strongest tournament schedules in the history of the program this year with the women. We played and competed in the Big 12 tournament that was hosted by Texas Tech. They also competed in an A&M event, which is a SEC school now. So, and they went toe-to-toe with a lot of those bigger schools, and it builds character, it builds strength, it builds a strong mind to understand that you can play with some of the best and still compete with them. So I think it's important that we try to put them in those positions. The best finish was at the Texas State Invitational, where they finished second place and also tied for second place in the Southland Conference this year, which was the best conference finish since we had won the conference in 2017 and 2018. As far as individuals, we have a freshman that has also been voted and nominated and named as the Freshman of the Year. Ploy from Thailand. And there we go. Which you can figure that's first team, Southland Conference, when you win that type of a title. We also have a freshman that won the second team all conference, which is Alyssa Stewart. We have a senior that's been with us and been such a great representative for us. Her name is Jackie Nguyen. Has recently been awarded the Varsity Athletic Academic Award with a nice 4.0. Our women's team currently holds the Athletic Director's Cup. So each semester we have a cup that we pass around with amongst all the programs for the highest GPA. And the women own it by, 3.75 or something like that. So in the fall semester, they held on to the cup with that GPA of a 3.75. And that's why they're also committing 20 hours a week to their golf game, putting in extra work in their class times and stuff. So to take an athlete and have them post those kind of numbers in the classroom as well as the numbers they're posting on the golf course is amazing. It's amazing. For our gentlemen, our men's team is right back here in the back, in the middle. We have 8 players that are representing us tonight. We also have sitting at the table with them one of our other assistant coaches, Chad Marty. Chad Marty played at the University of Houston. His father also played at the University of Houston, and it's been very gracious to have Marty a part of our program because of the fact that what he can bring to the table because of his playing experience, also his driving range. No, he owns a lighted driving range that his dad started many moons ago. And when I first got here, people said, "Well, go talk to it." I'm like, okay. So I went and visited with him, and I'm sitting there, and I'm seeing this guy sitting out on this chair, a little plastic chair, and he's working with somebody, and I'm like, I know that guy. So I walked out there and I look at it. It's Amaro Blancas giving lessons right there. And if y'all, Amaro Blancas was the first guy to break 60 way back in the days at a course up in Texarkana, I believe it was that. So, but it was amazing to run into him and see that. Our gentlemen, we just finished up. We don't know the conference honors yet because the nominations and all that went in because we're a week behind what the girls had finished. So we won't find those things out until tomorrow or the next day. So I don't have anything to talk about that. But as far as our guys goes, we've had a really excellent year. We've improved our ranking with the new ranking system by 34 spots. We improved 34 positions on the ranking this year. We've had second place finish at our tournament. We kind of missed a few putts on the few holes coming in, and another team slipped in and got us on that one. But we also hosted, we finished third in the Arkansas State. We finished fourth 4 times, I believe. So we've had 3 other top 10 finishes. So the guys have really spread their wings a little bit and have posted well in some events. Then we're not playing against maybe the SECs and the Big 12s, but we did play a few SECs and Big 12s and some, but not the full field. So it's really a great experience for these guys. We just got the opportunity this spring to go play Torrey Pines on the South course. I thought it would be a good time with this group to take them out there and treat them to that. And, you know, I always thought Torrey Pines, man, they keep losing trees, you know, and I'm like, they need to replant. But no, they don't. That golf course is hard enough because the severe slopes of the greens and the bent and the Poana that's all mixed together, and then you're playing in 3 or 4 inch kikuyu grass rough. We don't have kikuyu grass in Texas, so, you know, but we brought some California teams to ours, and they didn't know how to handle Bermuda either, so it's kind of a toss-up there. But I'm really proud of our guys and what they've been able to accomplish this year, and we get them all back. We're losing 2 seniors this year for the most part with Shaheen Moman and Haven McIntyre. So we wish them the best with their future, but we've got a good bunch coming back for us. So a little bit on that. We have a young man that's part of our team that's going to come up and give a prayer, opening prayer so we can all eat. Okay? Brooks Pollock. Brooks is a sophomore. Brooks is a sophomore for us, but he's also a Division I tournament winner for us in his freshman year. He won a tournament. We played that at La Tour in Louisiana in his freshman year.
Yeah. I'm Brooks. I'll be praying. If y'all will bow y'all heads with me. Dear Lord, I just want to thank you tonight for the opportunity that we have to come together, enjoy a great meal, meet new people, and see old friends. I thank you just for the people you've blessed this program with, from Coach Schuster to Coach Jordan to Coach Marty, who have been with us every step of the way, to Mr. Montgomerie, who took the time out of his very busy schedule to come support this program tonight, to everyone behind the scenes who made this possible, and most importantly, to all the supporters in this room tonight. Without y'all's support, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And Lord, I just pray that as we enjoy tonight and we go forward into our lives, that we all strive to keep you at the forefront of our lives, that we remain steadfast and faithful in our walks with you, and remember all that you have done for us, Lord. Finally, I pray that you nourish this food in our bodies. Amen.
It's great to hear all the chatter around the tables. I hope everybody enjoyed their meal. Benny, I don't know where you went, but thank you. It was a great meal. We appreciated it. And now let's get on with the program. I know you guys didn't come see me, I know. As part of this program, what we're going to do now is I'm going to bring Dr. Sloan up, and then I'm going to bring Colin up, and they're going to have a chat up here on the stage, as we said. And I know Dr. Sloan's got some very curated questions that he's going to ask, and then maybe he'll ask a couple of the ones that came from the audience. So first of all, I'd like to bring to the stage Dr. Sloan. Dr. Sloan, if you want to come on up. I don't think with this crowd, Dr. Sloan really needs much of an introduction, but I will say this, and I say this every time I introduce the man. When it comes to athletics, an athletic director could not have a better president than Dr. Sloan, except for the following. That, in fact, if Dr. Sloan ever decided he didn't want to be president anymore and wanted to be athletic director, he would do my job much better than I do my job. And that's no joke. He is absolutely a dream to work for, and I'm very fortunate that he brought me here and that I've had a chance to work here and work for him. It's been an absolute joy. But now let's bring forth Mr. Montgomerie. So you have on your tables a bit of a biography about him. I think Colin came to the campus in 1983 and then played the 84 through the 87 season. He won a record after he left here, and he was part of a very, very, very good team when he was here. Dave Mannon was the golf coach at the time, and they were outstanding. And I'm going to tell you that from experience because I coached against them. I was actually the coach over at Rice for a year long ago, obviously. And I had to coach against that team. And I can tell you the way the golf tournaments work is the first day you're paired with whoever you're paired with. They mix you up. But after the first day, then the teams that shoot the higher scores all have to start earlier in the day. The teams that shoot the lower scores shoot later in the day. Well, we were paired with them for one day. Then we were playing in the morning and they were playing in the afternoon. But we got a chance to watch them play, and what a fantastic team. What a fantastic team they had. I hated to coach against them. I really did. After he left here, he won a record 8 European Tour Order of Merit titles, including 7 in a row. He won 31 European Tour events, the most by any British player ever. He was in the top 10 for 400 straight weeks. If you do the math on that, that's 8 years, almost 8 years. Just a fantastic record. In 1997, he was inducted to the HCU Hall of Fame because we were really smart. It took the World Golf Hall of Fame until 2013 to figure that out, but he was inducted to the World Golf Hall of Fame in 2013. He will forever be a Husky. And I told him I was going to ask about this. The stories that I've heard some stories about when he was here. One of the stories I heard is that Colin lived in the apartments across the street that the university used to own across Beechnut. And at the time, the older of us in the room will remember, there used to be a putt-putt golf course over on that corner where the football stadium is now. I have heard stories about golf balls flying across Beach Nut from the apartments, just trying to see just how close to the putt-putt golf holes he could possibly get. Well, I say that. I've heard some people tell me that he was aiming at people who were playing putt-putt golf. I don't know. I'll assume that he was trying to make a hole-in-one from across the street. But he will forever be a Husky, and we're so glad that he's here with us this evening.
Thank you.
Well, Colin, this is
I think you're on.
obviously a great moment for us to have you back on campus. Thank you. It's been several years now since you were you were here.
Well, thank you very much, and it's an honour for me to be here this evening, and thank you for all coming out on this lovely evening here in Houston, and it's not raining, which is a plus here in Houston. But at the same time, delighted to be here, and brings back great memories. You know, especially university apartments. I did think they would be demolished by now. I was hoping they might be demolished by now. My God, I mean, when you start what's 1980, 83, 85, so you're talking 40 years ago, and unfortunately they weren't great then. So imagine them now.
We don't let our students live there anymore.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much. Thank you. I see all the new properties and the new buildings, and it's fantastic. And here we are in this magnificent building here. And the skyline, as you say, won an award. Yes, one of the new skylines of Houston, and deservedly so. So delighted to be here and joining you this evening.
Thank you so much. Well, it's quite an honor for us. You have a lot of golfers in the audience, people like me who are aged and amateur and getting worse by the moment. And then you got some young women and young men who are just entering into the peak of their golfing years, and so we know this will be a fun occasion for all of us. Tell everybody, you've told the story before. I've seen it in print even. You mentioned it to people in interviews, but tell everybody how you came to HBU at the time. Tell us that story.
It's a long story. Be late in bed this evening. Yeah, I mean, I was one of the first British or international players to come over to America, and we thought as a family this would be the right thing to do to encourage my golf game to start with, but also to first and foremost was to get my degree. That was number one, because we know now, and we all do, that one in how many thousand actually make it at this game. So we needed a backup, and the backup plan was definitely a degree. So it all started. My father was over in business. I think it was on the West Coast, and he flew through a place called Roswell, New Mexico. Now that's a very famous place here in America. And there was a university there called New Mexico Military Institute, NMMI, as we knew it then. It doesn't ring off the tongue as somewhere. NMMI it was. Anyway, it was in close season. It was in the summer, and my father didn't see the so-called so strong military area that it was. So I lasted, to cut a long story short, I lasted 48 hours. And I'm still officially AWOL from there. My roommate, lovely fella, I forget his name. I never actually knew his name, never mind forgetting it. I never knew it in the first place. I didn't have time to actually get to know it. He threw my golf clubs and my suitcase down from the bedroom window, which was 2 stories up. I went down the drain pipe, as athletic as I am, and got to a Greyhound bus station in Roswell, New Mexico. And through the night got a Greyhound bus. Now they're lovely things. 40 years ago, this was a lovely trip through the night to Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I got to Albuquerque, gave my father a call, and of course there was no mobile phones in those days. There was no way of getting in touch with anyone. You had to put your money in the phone machine, you know. And calling Britain was expensive, so I had to get all these quarters and throw them into this machine. And he said, okay, get a flight to the nearest big American city. So I looked at the board at Albuquerque Airport, and there was 4 flights. There was San Francisco, there was LA, there was Houston, there was Dallas. And Houston was the first one. So I caught it. So we've got to Houston, right? And so what do I do now? So I checked into the DoubleTree Inn, another lovely spot, at the airport, and called home again and go, right, okay, I'm here now. I'm at the DoubleTree Inn at Houston Airport. It wasn't Bush at the time. I think it wasn't called after president. It was just Houston. So, got the ball rolling. Right, Houston. Who do we know with a connection at Houston that I can go to university in Houston? What? In the middle of, So, luckily, Houston's connected with NASA. Very much so, and it was then even probably more than it is now. And one of the members of my golf club in England at the time was the chaplain for the astronauts that used to come over and train with our RAF, our Royal Air Force in England. And he was the chaplain in case, obviously, things went wrong. And he knew Alan Shepard. Now, Alan Shepard was a member of Lochinvar out in the North Houston now. And so I'm getting there now, you see, we're getting there. So a friend of a friend, he got in touch with Dave Mannon. He knew Dave Mannon, the old golf coach here that at the time. He came to visit me, Dave Mannon came to visit me at the DoubleTree Inn. And I was a walk-on, and that's why the first year I was a walk-on here. All the scholarships were given out as such. And I was a walk-on for the first year, and then that allowed me the next 4 years to study well here, and also give me an opportunity of playing golf against people that were better than me. Therefore, I improved, and I improved well through that time. But that's how I got here. It was a long-winded story, but I've got to thank the chaplain at Sunningdale Golf Club in London, and also Alan Shepard for his help in getting me here.
That's amazing. I thought I knew that story better than I evidently did. I'd forgotten about New Mexico Military Institute.
Yes, I'm just worried in case someone opens the door here and
Yeah.
finally catches
You're
me,
still
catches up with me.
AWOL.
I'm officially AWOL. Yeah. So I'm hiding.
Your college days of playing golf obviously represented a great transition for you in terms of your golf game. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What? You weren't the number one player on the team to start with. No. But anyway, obviously your career speaks for itself. What made the difference in terms of mental attitude, coaching, practice?
Yeah, I was always determined. I'd always had great ambition. I'd always determined and had good drive. I'm supposed to use a pun for this game. Good drive to succeed, and learned. I was a good learner. I was a quick learner, and we had, as Coach was saying, we had a great team, a very strong team, and they were better than I was, as I said earlier, and I had to learn from them and try to beat them. I wanted to be number one on the team. I wanted to travel to the tournaments, to be in the top 5, as it was then. Whether it is the same now, I'm not sure, but to be in the top 5, to qualify, to be on the plane, if you like, to go to the tournaments. And so I had to get better. And the big thing for me was when I got a car, believe it or not. Sounds crazy now, doesn't it? To get a car, but everyone has a car, but I didn't at the time. And I did this. I was reading books about the putting and how in the golf game we always work back from the green backwards, and that's the way to go. Forget the driving, the iron play, or even the chipping. It's the guy that holds the putts is going to win. Right? And it's been going on for 100 years, and it'll go on for the next 100 years. It's the guy that putts is going to win. So I did this routine before I came home. I was tired at night when I did this, but I got my own car and I went out to well, to Sweetwater, really, to Sugar Creek. We used to play River Bend, I think, as well, and some of the courses locally. And I hold 100 putts a night. And the hole was about big enough to contain 10 balls before it was full. And I hold 100 putts from 2 foot. That's all they were, 2 foot. And the first 70 was relatively simple. And then the next 20 got quite serious, because knowing that if I'd missed one, I was back to square one. And it took about 25 minutes, this, in all, to do it. So I didn't want to go back to square one, because that was going to waste another 25 minutes of pizza time. So, I thought, okay, great. So did it for 70 to 90, was pressurized. And then the reason I really did it was from 90 to 100. Then I was under tournament conditions. My own tournament. The only time I could actually be in that tournament condition was doing the 90 to 100 that really counted. And that allowed me to hit my putts 2 foot harder than I would have done normally. And it's amazing to the golfers in the room, if you hit your putts 2 foot harder, it's amazing how many go in. I was playing match play as opposed to stroke play. Stroke play, you're a little bit more defensive. Okay, I can 2-putt this, lag this up sort of thing, 2-putt. I was okay, I can hold this, because I was taught, and Dave Mannon was right, second is first, loser. I was taught how to win here. I was taught how to win. I could play the game, but I wasn't a winner as such. When I left here, I left as a winner. And it was due to Dave Mannon's coaching, but also the team as well. The team, we fought against each other. And I think the standards of our team rose because we were so good. We all fancied ourselves, so we all tried to beat each other. And of course, the standards raised because of it. Competition raises standards. And that's what that was. Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you have any, you mentioned then, we're talking a little bit right now about your HBU experience. What, any special memories stand out for you at the university, whether, on the golf course in competition or just with friends and the general environment of the university?
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. And I think in life, if you do enjoy something, you're usually quite good at it. And I enjoyed life on campus. I hadn't been around this environment before. I went home twice a year. I went home in the summer months, and I went home at Christmas for two weeks. So it was a time away from family and friends. I was on my own, really. As I say, with no mobile phones, there was no communication, the same as it is now. What was happening in the world was lost. It was a long gone. So it was an experience, an emotional experience, but also an experience of growing up. 20 to 24 years old is a time where you do grow, and I grew with that. I met a lot of good friends over here and stayed in contact with them, and it's amazing. People shout out when I'm playing in LA or playing in Chicago or something, or people shout HBU. Yeah. And you think, wow, hang on, turn around and they were ex-alumni or whatever it might be, and fantastic. So it is, yeah. It was a very special time. I mean, obviously, living on your own, you have to fend for yourself. I wasn't very good at that. I was awful at that, actually. I tried once. Oh God, I was terrible. I went down to Randall's supermarket, which was down here somewhere. I don't know whether it's still there. Is it still there? No, it's probably gone. And most things have. This was 40 years ago. And I thought these things come in this cardboard wrap. I hadn't seen these before. They're called biscuits, right? Well, we call them scones, but they call them biscuits. Well, okay, I'll try this. This is good. So this opened up, and the whole thing sort of expanded out this box. It went miles. It got really big. And I thought, oh God, hang on. So I put these in the oven in my famous apartment, 7129 Beach Nut. I'll never forget it. My God. And I put them in the oven, and I forgot that one of my roommates had left some oil on the right. Okay, we're getting there, right? Anyway, so I go into the main room, I have a shower or something, come out. Well, is this not on fire? Okay, this is a serious fire in the kitchen of this 7129 Beach Nut. That's why I thought that it was going to be demolished then. Never mind now. So what the hell do I do now? So at home I would call 999. That's our number. But in America it's 911. So I got that wrong for a start. So I called 911 eventually, and the Houston Fire Brigade comes out and puts out this fire. The trouble was, four not so small basketball players lived below me. And they weren't too impressed because the water that was leaking through the roof of my apartment, because we were the top left-hand side, they were the bottom. And anyway, they weren't very impressed, and they came up and knocked on the door, you know. And I thought, I'm sorry, you know, issues here in the fire brigade. So that was one of my experiences. But it was an experience, you know. It was. I really enjoyed it. And although I left my family in Scotland at the time to come back for semesters, I was coming back to somewhere that I felt comfortable, I felt at home, and I felt that I was learning in an educational environment, and also in a golfing one. You know, I had both sets of my life were good at that time. It was a good time of life. Yeah, it really was. And I've always, anybody I've said, oh, what do you think of American University? I said, look, I would encourage you to go. It's the best 4 years of your life. You know, and I really felt that. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So you had some success and development and growth in your college days, which you talked about. There must have been a big difference between being a successful collegiate golfer and then your early days as a pro. Describe that transition.
Yeah, well, it was a different transition as well, really. I mean, it was amazing. I graduated in June 1987. So in July 1986, I was looking to, just in case things didn't work out, I was looking for a job. And at the time, I was looking for a golf within the world of golf as a sort of agent, a manager of the likes of a Nicholas Palmer player, Norman, Nick Price. There was all these guys, Faldo, Langer, Sevi. You know, these guys. I could go into rooms and try and get them deals, and I'd get a percentage from it. And I thought this was great. So my job interview I had with a company called IMG. It was Mark McCormick's company at the time. In 1986 was at Turnberry, because the Open Championship had just finished. Greg Norman had just won in 1986 at Turnberry. And I had a job interview the next day of two top executives from IMG. And they wanted to play the back nine with me at Turnberry as a job interview. So obviously there was something better to do in the front nine. So I drove out to the lighthouse at Turnberry, for those who know Turnberry golf course, and played the back nine in with them. So I was watching my P's and Q's, a job interview, as you do. And I birdied the 10th hole, and I think I holed out a bunker at the 11th, and I chipped in at the 5th or 14th or 15th and holed a massive putt at the last on 18. Cut a long story short, I came back in 29. This is my job interview. I came back in 29. Same pin positions as they were for the Open Championship just finished on the day before. And they said, well, Colin, we're not going to work. You're not going to work for us. We're going to work for you. And I went, what? I said, does that mean I haven't got the job? And it sunk in that obviously what they were saying was we feel you're good enough to do this as a pro, as a job. And with my degree, which I will always say was the most important thing I've ever done in my life, was get my degree from HBU. That allowed me that insurance policy to turn pro. I had that insurance policy. If it didn't work out, the pro golf, I could resort to something else, right? Whatever. I gave myself 2 years. I'd won my first tournament within that time on the European Tour, the Portuguese Open. And then, of course, it just sort of snowballed from there. Right. But without that 9 holes and without the degree from here, I wouldn't be talking to you tonight. That's for sure.
Wow, yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Your career has spanned a lot of years, and you have seen the greatest, most of the greatest players who've ever played the game over the last 40, 45 years. How has golf changed, and how has it stayed the same from your earliest days to now?
Well, it's changed dramatically, hasn't it? And as you so rightly say, it stayed the same, you know? The lowest score wins, right? And it'll always be that way, you know? It'll always be that way, the lowest score wins. How it's done, hey, we're all different, right? We all have different physical attributes. We all have different flexibility issues or attributes or whatever. So how it's done doesn't really matter. It's what you put down on that card and pencil counts, you know? And so it's interesting in that way that it hasn't changed. And the guy that can handle the pressure and hold the putt on the last green normally, you know, wins out. What has changed, of course, is the physicality of the game has changed dramatically. There used to be 2 variables, really. The golf ball and the golf club changed dramatically. Now we put a 3rd variable in there, and it's called the athlete, right? Tiger Woods changed that. Tiger Woods was the best athlete in the world for many, many years. And he happened to play golf. And he played a different game. Yes, he had the golf ball, had the club, but he was the athlete. And it was our job in those days to either, you know, he wasn't coming down to our level, we had to go to his. And nobody really made it. A few of us got close, you know. 2nd in the Open at St Andrews springs to mind, if it wasn't for him. But hey, what the hell? Nice guy. But it was the Tiger Woods era that I lived through. Ernie Els lived through. Phil Mickelson lived through. Vijay Singh lived through. We all had a go, but he was number 1. And it was the physicality, and it's changed. And you see now the coming out athletes. Right. I mean, hitting the ball now 330 in the air isn't long. You think, hang on a minute, that's just crazy, you know. And I'm the same length. I hit the ball the same length as I did when I was here. Okay, 275 yards. That's how I hit the ball. And I still hit the ball 275 yards, 40 years on. Now, of course, flexibility has changed and the whole body's dried up, whatever it might be. But the golf ball and the golf club has enabled me to stay at 275. I think if I was using the same ball and the club that I was using, I'd be at, say, 240, 235. So it's gained 40 yards for me, the ball and the club together. So it's kept me at that level, but this is a new level. This is a new game, a new world that we're playing. But you tell me a game that hasn't increased. I mean, football's got quicker, baseball's better, stronger, basketball's quicker, tennis, my God, the serving, it's all faster. I remember watching, in our day, Borg and McEnroe play at Wimbledon. Well, it was like it was in slow motion compared to what tennis is now. And golf, similar. I mean, we're hitting, you know, I was commentating at the Masters a couple of times for Sky Sports, our European broadcaster, and I think it was it Brooks Koepka or something, you know, and of course he draws out a club from the bag and 190 yards, and I'm sort of thinking, okay, right, well, I'd hit, you know, 5-iron, probably a very big 6 nowadays, but 5-iron will get me there. You know, 9-iron. It's not windy, you know, it's not, and it's not downhill, you know. You think, this is a whole different ball, this is a whole different world, you know. And then Bryson DeChambeau comes along, and that 9-iron's now a wedge. You think, where are we going, you know? Incredible. But hey, I don't know where it's going. I don't know what the next level is We're talking about reducing the golf ball or keeping it where it is, which is vital, I think, because we're running out of space. We can't be building 10,000-yard golf courses. We're running out of room. So we've got to be careful. But yeah, it's changed, yes, and it also hasn't. You're dead right. It hasn't changed. It's still the lowest score that wins.
Still have to putt.
Yeah, you still have to putt. And it was like when we're playing famously in the Ryder Cup, and I'm sorry to mention the Ryder Cup in this American room. And that, you saw the logo there behind me. That was at the K Club in Ireland in 2006, and I just holed a putt on the last green. And that was against my good friend Tiger Woods on the last green. And it's just, oh, now I've lost my track. What were we talking about? Come on. Ryder Cups and the feeling, the putting and the feeling.
To make the putts.
Yeah, and you've still got to get there, and that's what that was. That was a putt that we were playing. Padraig Harrington and I famously were playing. The draw comes out in 2004, and we're playing against Woods and Mickelson, number 1 and 2 in the world. Oh God. And I was about 9th in the world at the time, and Padraig Harrington was about 25th or something. So we have no chance, really. Number 1 and 2 in the world. Woods and Mickelson out first in the Ryder Cup. God. So how are we going to beat them? We were asked this in the interview before we left the opening ceremony, and we came back to the press room. Somebody said, well, how are you going to beat them? Because they drive the ball better than you do, longer. Their irons are better than yours. They chip the ball incredibly well, much better than you pair. And the putting is incredible. How are we going to beat them? I said, tell you what we'll do. We'll score lower. And we did. We were 10 under. They were 8 under. We won 2 and 1. And 4-ball, better ball, And it's amazing, isn't it? Score better. And that's the only way we could beat them, was to actually score lower. And it goes back to the game. The game hasn't changed. Yeah. You score lower to win. The lowest score wins. And it's amazing. And seeing that Ryder Cup, it just brought that back. The Harrington match with me, it was at Oakland Hills in Detroit, 2004, first game. First drive off the first tee. And of course, being European in America, we're given the honor off the first tee. So Harrington said, well, I'm a bit nervous, so you go first. So here we are. Little boy from HBU, teeing off on the first tee at the Ryder Cup, first shot. Now, you don't sleep, knowing that's going to happen, you don't sleep for 2 or 3 days beforehand. You don't. And you practice putting the ball on the tee. Just in case it falls off, you're a little bit nervous, to say the least. And I did okay. I managed to hit the ball, and I put it in the right hand bunker. It was awful. I played a good bunker shot and hold the putt for a birdie, and it was okay. But it was that sort of time you go back to where you started the game here in HBU days, and you go back to that start of where you were and what you did, and it all springs to mind. It's amazing what goes through your head at that time, I had a psychologist at the time, the poor guy trying to deal with me, a psychologist, Hugh Mantle from Liverpool Moores University in England, and we had a way of dealing with the first tee nerves, and doesn't matter who you are. You're going to be nervous, especially Ryder Cup, when you're the first game out, so there's no other game to watch. Everyone's waited 2 years for this to happen again. And 2002, we'd won in England. And 2004, we were coming away from home to try and win. And first tee shot, how do you cope with this? So apart from all the technical stuff, there was some mental stuff that had to be dealt with. So I started learning my 37 times table. Now, 37 is difficult, because it gets, you get to 74, you get to 111, and then you sort of think about it, And that's all I was doing. was reciting my 37 times table in my head as I was teeing off. And it took me away from all the technical and all the stuff that was going on, and got me into a frame of mind to hit the ball. I never heard the starter's name. I never heard my name mentioned, never heard Europe mentioned, whatever. It was only 37 times table. And I kept going through the shot, and that's what kept me going. And it's amazing techniques that one can use to help one in those sort of situations. Yeah, amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure everybody in the room knows, but I like saying it. This man, I believe I'm right in saying you never lost a singles match in Ryder Cup play.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I played eight Ryder Cups, so 16 years worth, and never lost a singles match in the eight opponents. Mainly because the draw. Oh, in the Ryder Cup, there's 12 Europeans and there's 12 Americans, and we go into our team room and we decide on our order for the Sunday singles. And the Americans are doing the same thing in their team room. Their captain and vice captains and team are deciding what order they should go out in. And then they're put into sealed envelopes, and they're opened in the referee's room, and 1 plays 1, 2 plays 2, 3 plays 3. So no one knows what's going on. So I suppose I was doing okay, you know. I did a bit, and then 2006 happened to be my last Ryder Cup. I didn't know about it at the time, but America were down. We were well ahead going into the singles, so we knew that America had to front load their team, which meant that we anticipated that Tiger Woods had to go out number 1. You'd have thought that. The best player, out number 1, get the point, get momentum going for America, get back into the game. So Ian Woosnam, who was our captain, said, Monty, we'd like you to go out first. So I thought, that's great news, isn't it, Ian? Because you know as well as I do who America are going to put out first. He says, yeah. He said, are you okay with this? I said, look, fine, don't worry about it. Tiger, yeah, no problem. Well, I had to, didn't I? I couldn't say, no, I don't want to play him. So I had to go, well, okay. I had to sort of, you know, try and be as confident as possible and walk out the room and go, So the draw comes out, and it was a crackly sort of one of these walkie-talkies the draw was mentioned, you see. So it said, first off, Monty, that's what's known as, Monty, against Tom. I go, Tom? And then number 2, it was Sergio Garcia was playing Phil Mickelson or something. And then I said, Tom, what? No, they've got that wrong. Tom's the captain, Tom Lehman. He's the captain. They've got this all wrong. Where's Woods? And it was David Toms I was playing. Woods, they hid him at number 4. And I thought, oh, thank God for that, you know. And so anyway, I managed to beat David Toms. I probably wouldn't have beaten Tiger Woods, but okay, 8 singles without losing one. I avoided him, which was great. I played the rest of them, but I avoided him. But it was great. Yeah, it was one of these things where after you haven't lost 5, I haven't lost 6, I haven't lost 7, it becomes, I know we're playing for a team, and I know it's a team game, the Ryder Cup and everything, but individually it meant something to me. Sure. You know, it did. It meant something that I didn't want to lose. And sometimes in golf, the harder you try, the worse it is. You know, they say, oh, don't try as hard. Well, what does that mean? Try easier or try? It's a difficult thing to do. So I went out and probably played the best I had against David Toms. I had to. He's a very good player. Someone you had to go and beat. He wasn't going to beat himself. Mm. Someone you had to go and beat. And I managed to beat him 1-up. It was okay, and I managed to keep that record, which was intact. And now, not playing again, I'm glad that it won't be, it won't be beaten, which is okay, you know. Yeah.
I want to bring up a sore subject. It's a political subject. I should have asked you about this at the table before I spring it on you right here. But
not at all.
But would you comment about the PGA and LIV golf and just your own honest assessment of that? Well,
yeah, you know, for those of you who aren't involved in the game, but most of you are, you know, the PGA Tour sort of split a few years ago, and the Saudi Arabian money came in, which is we thought great for the game. But unfortunately, it hasn't been used in the right way. And I feel when you're talking billions and billions of dollars coming into the game of golf, and we're not talking 1 billion, we're talking billions of dollars coming into the game of golf, this should be a great thing for the game of golf. And it hasn't quite materialized. What's happened is that the wealthy players have got wealthier, which is great for them. But that money, I feel, could be used in a much better way in the grassroots of the game, opportunities given to others to play the great game of golf around the world. That money could be used around the world in a heartbeat. We're talking the Far East, we're talking India, China, Japan, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia. These countries, emerging countries in the game of golf, that money would be really, really vital. And even here in America, and it hasn't materialized to that extent. And I wish that money was used to give opportunity, because without opportunity, who knows? There could be 10 Tiger Woods out there somewhere. But without opportunity, we don't know. Opportunity has to be given to that child or these children out there that can be and should be good at this game. But without opportunity and without, unfortunately, the word money and dollars, so I just wish that money was used in a different way to help the game of golf worldwide. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Thank you. I'm not sure what our time is like here, but I've got another question or two that I want to
Please,
ask.
sir, just look. You're the president, okay? You just.
Thank you.
You're in charge here. We're all just subjects, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, my wife's here.
Okay. Sorry. Well, so's mine. So we're number 2 and 3, okay?
Moving right along. So you've got a lot of young golfers here, collegiate golfers, women and men, and still some aspiring golfers. What is the best advice you can give them at this point in their career in terms of golf, but maybe even more than golf, golf and life?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think whatever it might be, and I'm speaking to the women's and the men's teams here. Whatever you do, try and enjoy it. Whatever you do, if you go on to play this great game as a living, or you don't, try and enjoy it. Because if you do enjoy whatever you do, you're usually quite good at it. And whatever you do, enjoy it and be patient. Be patient. I think I was in a rush to get to somewhere, wherever that somewhere was, in a rush to get there. And I think if I was to live that time again, I think I'd be more patient, and I'd take time to so-called smell the flowers or whatever it might be, and really do enjoy it. Because, hey, come on, as a job, I start with what do you do? Well, I play golf. Well, I play isn't bad, is it really, as a job? And fortunate enough to have traveled the world, to all 6 continents dozens of times. And that's been my education, really, as well as here. In a classroom, the education away from the classroom has been travel, and experiences of travel has given me. And I've been very, very fortunate to play this great game and to travel the world the way that one has. So I would say, if to the women's and the men's team, is enjoy it and be patient, and but mainly enjoy it. We've been given a fantastic opportunity here at this superb university, and take that forward wherever it might be and enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, one last question here, if this will work. And then I don't know if anybody else has got a burning question that you just have to ask. I've tried to ask some that I've been given. You've had many great experiences, a lot of success, and I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but I can't help but ask this trite question. You've had some great victories, great exhilarating moments. What comes to your mind, the top one or two experiences where you just you think to yourself still today, wow, that was unbelievable?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, your first professional victory, you think, wow, you know. And it was strange at how it happened. My first collegiate victory was in a place, Macon, Georgia. Would that be right? Macon, have I pronounced that right? Mm-hmm. Macon, Georgia. 3-round event, and I happened to win by 11, which was bizarre. I don't know what happened to the rest of them. They must have all just collapsed. And then my first professional victory was at the Portuguese Open. We talked about 1989. And I won by 11. Now, the next 10 victories were all by one shot. So how does that happen? That you win your first by 11 shots, and then the next 10 victories are by one shot? It was an amazing game. And how that happened, the first collegiate victory 11 and the first professional victory. So it was it's just, I suppose, you know, you think back and think about, you know, the victories. I'm very proud of my 3 PGA championships. We have our PGA championship at Wentworth. It's like the European TPC at Sawgrass that Rory McIlroy's just won in that playoff. And I managed to win that 3 times in a row in 98, 99, and 2000. And I was very proud of that. But I suppose when you go back to the Ryder Cup, you know, to hold the winning putt in the Ryder Cup is a big deal, I suppose. One, given the opportunity of doing it, you know, there's 12 Americans stand up at the start and there's 12 Europeans. One of those 24 is going to have the opportunity of holding the winning putt. And it just happened that it was this one. No, it was 2004 under Bernard Langer that had this 5-footer. And this was to get to the famous 14.5 points that you need to win the Ryder Cup. We play for 28, so 14.5 was our magic number. And had to hole it. Now, we all know that a 5-foot putt is, well, it's your job, it's expected, but it's also missable. Very missable. So here we go, my 37 times table again, as I'm trying to hold this putt, and it went in, thank goodness. And that was a big moment, you know, especially here in the States, to win at Oakland Hills. It was the first time we'd won away for a long, long time, Europe, and it was a big deal for my good friend Bernhard Langer, who I have a lot of time for, on and off the course, and he was our captain, and it was a putt for him as well as anyone, you know. Right. We'd walked the fairways an awful lot over the years, and still do. And he's still beating me to this day. He's incredible, 67 years old, and he's still, you know, he's up. He'll probably, it's dark now, but he's probably in by now. But he's just in half an hour ago, you know, from practicing. He's an incredible individual in many ways. So that was a big deal to hold the winning putt in the Ryder Cup. That's as good as we can really get.
Sure. We have loved having you here. It's an incredible honor for us to get to hear more of your story. And my closing question is, we started with your first day in college where you ended up going AWOL. But through that providential blessing, we ended up getting you here at HCU now.
Yes.
And you've had a fabulous career. Tell us, you're still playing, but tell us also what other things you're doing now and what you'll do going forward.
Well, I mean, you know, yeah, we're still playing. I'm 61 now, so we're still playing competitively, and it's amazing this great game of golf allows us to do that. I mean, if I was a footballer, baseball, tennis, whatever it might be, basketball, basketball, no, I'd never any good at basketball. We'd be finished at 35, 40 if you're lucky. So at 61, still being competitive on the Champions Tour is great. The competition's superb, so that keeps me going. I'm sitting here, coming back here as a young man at 21 years old, and I'm sitting here as a grandfather, for goodness sake. Two grandchildren, 2 granddaughters, Isla and India, and it's amazing, isn't it? You know how life takes its circle of life, you know, and an amazing time with them over the Easter period, and now going home after these events and spending time with them and watching them grow into teenagers and adults and what have you. And so that's fantastic. My 3 children at home, all doing great. And so that's, the family is very important when you get away from the golf course, because you've got to find a balance. Golf is all encompassing and all, you think it's the only thing in life, but actually, there's a lot more to it than the game of golf, and so family is number one for us, and when we go home, that's the number one thing we do. It's about a 40-minute drive to the grandchildren, and it's the first thing we do is go and see them. So it's fantastic. But it's amazing, isn't it? You come here as a young man, and now you sit here as a grandfather. Where did that 40 years go? And how quick we all feel it has gone. The gentlemen, ladies in the room, the same age as myself. You think it was only yesterday that I was at university or something, and here we are, But it's been a great experience, and I wouldn't have it back at all. No.
Every university has a mission and a goal and an aspiration. We all seek visibility, and one of the ways we seek visibility is through our mission. In our case, as a Christian university. Another great way that we seek visibility is through athletics. Mm-hmm. And another way that we seek visibility, of course, is through our alumni. You are a great representative of HBU. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you, Doctor, and amazing to be here, and thank you for all coming out this evening, and good luck and good health to all of us. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.